Hey guys, one of the questions I get asked by parents all the time is, should I buy an acoustic guitar to start or an electric guitar? So today I'm going to break down all the pros and cons and make your life really easy to make the right decision. So firstly, let's talk about the acoustic guitar. So like the one I was just holding up a second ago, you've got a steel string acoustic guitar, or you've got the most common guitar for kids to start on, the nylon string guitar, the nylon string acoustic. That's this guy in the middle, okay? Also known as a classical guitar. Now, the nylon string guitars have nylon strings, so they're a little bit easier to push the strings down on the guitar itself, and they're a little lighter on the fingers in the beginning, so they don't cause as much discomfort on the fingers. I often hear parents say, I need to buy a nylon string for my kids because I've heard that it's going to hurt their fingers otherwise. Look, honestly, I find that after 2, 3, 4 weeks of practice, it doesn't really matter too much if they get the nylon string or the steel string. For me, it depends on what sound you want. Like the nylon string is a bit of a softer, more classical sound. The steel string is the more common sort of sound that you hear on most records with your standard sort of traditional acoustic guitar sound. So for me, if I had to choose, I generally prefer to start my kids on a steel string acoustic. The size of the body does matter. So you can get a full size, which is really designed for a full adult. You can get a 3/4 size, which works really well from kids 8 to about 12 years old and beyond, or a half size even for kids 8 years or younger. A half size acoustic is great. So you can get half size, 3/4 size, or full size in both nylon string and in steel string acoustics. So it really just depends on what you want. The longevity of a steel string acoustic, kids get older and they want to sort of be playing more of a cool guitar, especially for teenagers, 11, 12, 13 years up. I'd sort of recommend the steel string acoustic. So when you go to your guitar shop, check out the steel strings and just get the body size just right for them. So pros and cons with acoustic guitars, obviously the sound, it's acoustic, so you can just play it without needing to plug it into an amplifier. With an electric guitar, which we'll talk about in a second, you really need to plug it into an amplifier to hear it. We'll get into that in a sec. So acoustic guitars, you can just grab them out the case and play them. They sound very loud, sound great straight away. They are a little bit more cumbersome on the body. So acoustic guitars, obviously the body of the guitar sort of sticks out sort of that far from your body, probably 4 inches. So you've got that sort of cumbersome feel about it. So let's talk about the electric guitar. So the electric guitar isn't generally where kids start on guitar. Usually they'll start on the acoustic, but the electric is great. It's really slim on the body, so it fits super snug into the body. If I just grab one of my electrics here compared to the acoustic so you can see the body size, here's the electric size, right, a lot thinner, and here's the acoustic size, so a lot thicker. So the electric is really snug on the body, it just fits straight into you. And there's two main styles of electric. This sort of style here, which is based on the classic kind of Fender Stratocaster look, okay, so that's your Jimi Hendrixes and Stevie Ray Vaughan, that sort of thing, and then you've got more of your Gibson Les Paul sort of style, and there's so many other styles of electric guitars these days. So my invitation is to really just choose a guitar that your kid really loves the look of, so they really get the right color, get the right looking guitar that they love. The more things you can do like that, the more it's going to help your cause. As far as the playability of electric guitars go, the strings are quite a bit easier to push down on the electric guitar. It just feels easier because it's snug on the kids' bodies, so they find it really easy. It's really easy to push the strings down as well. There's less resistance. Strings aren't as thick, so they're a lot easier to play. One of the cons with the electric guitar is you kind of need a amplifier to plug it into to hear it. You can hear it a little bit. It's quite quiet with just the electric sound without being plugged in. Parents often get scared that they think that the electric guitar is going to be really loud. This is not necessarily true. You can buy really small amplifiers these days, or even big amplifiers. You can have them turned down with the master volume control. A lot of kids love practicing with headphones these days, especially kids on the spectrum and in our programs. They love having the headphones on, so that's great for that. So there's almost literally no noise for the parents, so massive pro there too. So the last thing we've got to worry about here is the price point. So what's the price point of these guys? So really these nylon string acoustics in Australian dollars, they start from about $99 upward, and then the electric guitars start from a couple of $100 upwards. You want to get something of reasonable quality. The Valencia models for nylon string acoustics are fantastic. For steel string acoustic, reputable brands like Fender, Yamaha, really great to start. Cort is another one that comes to mind. And then as far as the electric guitar, my absolute most recommended recommended one is the Fender Squire starter packs. The Squire is the budget range or entry level range for Fender, and they start from the starter packs, I think, are about $450 up, and that comes with an amplifier, the strap, the picks, the cable, everything you need to get your guitar going. Otherwise, you can buy just the actual guitar itself for around $300. Also, secondhand on Facebook, there's tons of stuff, especially for electric guitars, secondhand on Facebook. Acoustic, I really recommend getting a new acoustic. With the acoustic guitars, they can lift up around the bridge here. The tension of the strings pushing on the bridge of the body there, you'll see often a bulge in the base of the guitar there, and that causes the string heights. As the wood lifts, the string height gets higher, and it makes it much more difficult to play. With secondhand cheaper acoustic guitars, this is a massive problem. So with acoustics, I'd say just bite the bullet and go to your local guitar shop and get a new one for that sort of a steel string acoustic. About $200 price point, maybe $180 to $250 depending on where you start. So it really just depends. I hope that helps out with all those different ideas there. As far as the parts of the guitar go, you can see here we've got the headstock, so the head of the guitar there. You've got your tuning pads. Obviously turning the tuners up and down will adjust the strings, so you can turn the tuner one way to make the string go up in tone, or the other way to make it go down. So that's that. You've got the neck of the guitar. You've got the frets, so these lines on the guitar are called frets, right? These steel lines going across the guitar here. You've got the sound hole on the left here on the acoustic, and that's where the sound's coming out of after being produced in this big body, as opposed to the electric guitar. It doesn't have a sound hole. It's got a solid body, and instead of a sound hole, they have these little pickups here which actually pick up the sound and then send it through the amplifier, which then produces the volume through the speakers, etc. So a different style of doing things. You've got like volume control on the guitar and tone, which the tone control on an electric guitar is kind of like when it's up to 10, it's kind of like having your ears all the way open, so to speak, and then when you roll it down from 10 back to 0, it's kind of like going like this with your hand, and when you have it on 0, that's kind of what it sounds like with your ears, and you open it back up to 10, and it gives you that turning the tone up. So that's kind of what a tone does. You've also got back here the bridge there and there, so that's kind of some real basics on guitar parts. My advice is to get the guitar, like I said before, to get the guitar that resonates most with your child. Get a guitar they fall in love with and make it absolutely easy for them to begin their guitar journey, because it's so much fun. All right, we'll see you soon.